Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
And welcome back, everybody. Going to talk about something today that can move your life forward once you realize what it is. And I'm referring to resilience, having that something in you that can help you power through. How do we get it? What is it? How do we even define it? Maybe, others define it in different ways. We are going to talk about that today with somebody who helps people find their resilience and power through a lot of challenges in life with an amazing center for mental health. It's located in Massachusetts, and it's called New Beginnings. And she is the founder and the pilot, if you will, helping people and her staff move forward. She is our Diamond of the Decade. Sherri Alexandrovich is back with us. How are you doing today?
I'm doing really well. How about yourselves?
Good, really good. This word resilience is funny that you mention it because it completely resonates with me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't do New Year's resolutions. I just pick a word, and then I kind of follow that word. Last year, my word was resilience.
Love it.
Based on previous events and realizations of a lot of different things. How do you define resilience?
So that's a tough one because there is no universal definition that psychologists or psychiatrists or psychotherapists have really come to an agreement on. And I think that's what makes it so challenging to be able to figure out what exactly is resilience. How do we teach it? Where does it come from? Because there's just such a diverse understanding of what that is. There's so many different things that play a role in what is resiliency. Our ability to recover from a particular incident, our type of functioning, whether we're an optimistic or a pessimistic person innately by trait, our capacity to bounce back from things, our way of, understanding or interpreting how things are, whether that's external or internal. And the people with the resiliency don't believe that they are exempt from bad things happening. Does that make sense?
That totally does.
And so if you really think about that sentence, that's pretty powerful. People who tend to be more resilient don't have the philosophy that they didn't deserve for something bad to happen to them, or that something shouldn't happen to them that's bad. They're of the philosophy that bad things happen sometimes, and we then just have to kind of move forward with that. And what are we going to do versus getting swallowed up and into that like black abyss of, why did this happen to me? I'm a good person. I didn't deserve for this to happen. And that makes it really difficult to get out of that, because that negative perception is really hard to kind of get through. The ability to kind of navigate a little bit more positively. And, there's kind of three different strategies that can help you to become more resilient. The first one is every day. Yep, go ahead.
No. I'm not. I'm on your page with all of this, and I, the part about the call to victim mentality. Well, why this happened to me? Why do I have to do this? I can only say from experience, once you let that go, not easy.
No.
Once you do, though, things change.
Right.
For the better, and that's where you can find the resilience. I think if you're still stuck in that why me, there's no judgment here. Perfectly understandable. Some of the things that we've all been through. Once you put that behind you, you start moving forward and call it in a positive direction. I just wanted to add that because I see it being true.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't lose what you have to something you lost. And that's an important thing that we want to always just kind of think about, right? We don't want to lose what we have today perseverating or staying stuck of something that we've lost in the past.
Yep.
And I think that's an important message. And, it's interesting because I was having a conversation with my grandson this weekend, who's 11, And I know I kind of talk a lot about him on the show.
Mhm.
And he was talking to me and he said, yeah, sometimes some of the kids at school will ask me, am I sad that I'm living with my grandmother? Or do I feel sad that I'm not living with my parents? And he's like, and I just kind of was like, no, because I'm not going to let the bad thing that's happened in my past hurt all of the good things that I have now. There's a reason that I'm staying with my grandmother and she's making good choices and she's making sure that I make good choices. And I was like, wow, what a simple way of just kind of putting such a dynamic message into one small 11-year-old brain. It was pretty impactful. And so as I was kind of thinking about resiliency this weekend, had a conversation with somebody this morning who said the word resilience. And I thought, wow, what a wonderful topic to expand upon, based on what we've been talking about the last couple of weeks with the smiling depression and then last week's podcast on, suicidality. So I thought, what a great way this week to kind of move forward with some positive techniques to help us kind of build what does that resiliency look like.
Mm. I'm excited to talk about this because it's uplifting.
Mm-hmm.
Once you, I'm just going to say in my journey,
Okay.
I never knew I had it in me and the stuff I had to deal with. And I didn't ask for any of this stuff.
Right.
And we've all been through stuff. But when you have that realization, and it would come continuously, and as a matter of fact, somebody I met like a year and a half ago or so even said to me the other day, "Man, I never knew your story. Like, I don't know how you did that. How you keep moving forward?" I'm like, "Well, I just keep moving forward. You just do it. That's it, you know." But it moves your life forward once you figure all this stuff out.
Right. And it's difficult, right? It's difficult to get to that other side because life is dynamic and we are faced with all kinds of catastrophes and all kinds of things that happen to us. And the journey that we've once planned out changes and things go in different directions. And so we have choices, and our choices are we going to stay stuck and perseverate on all of the bad things and have that mentality where we didn't deserve this and other people have such a great life? And I mean, let's face it, look at social media. People only post the good things. Nobody posts the bad things on social media. And trust me, not everybody's life is perfect. I mean, if you were to put 300 people in a room and name off 3 specific types of trauma, I think there'd be a handful of people who couldn't raise their hand and identify with what that looks like.
Yeah,
And so
it's true.
we're all suffering and we just all suffer in different ways. And so there are 3 strategies that I want to talk about today. There was a study that was done where they did a 6-month cohort where every day people were instructed to think about 3 good things that have happened to them every single day. At the end of that 6-month study, the levels of depression had decreased astronomically, where people have then decided to incorporate this as part of a therapeutic intervention. When we are able to kind of take a step back and every day just think about, even if it's the 3 good things every day that's happened, and really take time to just absorb that positivity and that hope, then that's going to help us to almost fight off some of that negativity or to counter some of the depression that most of us are suffering from.
To your point,
Mhm.
we've talked about practicing gratitude
Yes.
and how that can really move your life forward, even though you think it may not. There's
Mhm.
the example of it. That's a form of gratitude. Even in my gratitude journal,
Yeah.
which bought on Amazon, $8, it's got a feel for exactly what you just said.
Right, absolutely. The second one is give yourself permission to accept the good. Make intentional efforts every day to see the positive. So I think that when people are grieving or people are really depressed, they don't give themselves the permission to accept the good things that are happening in their life. And
Mm,
sometimes they need someone to say to them, it's okay to enjoy that moment, or it's okay to move forward and add more positive memories. And that looks different for everybody, whether, I mean, in my house and in my office, there are just positive affirmation signs absolutely everywhere. So everywhere you look, you're reading something that's positive or affirming. And I have my clients download affirmation apps where a new affirmation will show up on their cell phone every day and give them a text message of something that's positive or something that's uplifting, and remind them that it's okay to have a good day. It's okay to be positive. It's okay to move forward, even when other things in our life are not good, whether we've lost a loved one, whether we lost a child, whether we've lost somebody important in our life. We're going through a divorce. We've had a miscarriage. We are lost our jobs. There are so many things that happen in our life that are so impactful and so dynamic that sometimes we might feel guilty being positive, or we might feel guilty that we're going to enjoy that positive moment, but we deserve it. Be kind to yourself.
Well, let's look at that, the word deserve.
Mhm.
Do you feel that most of us feel we don't deserve the good stuff in life? We don't even know it. And this all comes from childhood,
Mhm.
and it's always been identified by psychiatrists, therapists, on and on and on, that in some way we all have a feeling that we're not good enough in some way. And
Mhm.
that the I don't feel I deserve it mentality within is all part of that.
Right. And it's deep rooted. It's really
Yeah.
deep rooted. I mean, if you think about how far back it can go, and it changes, and just to kind of like touch back upon why it's so difficult to really get a good gauge of what is resiliency and how do we foster it, because we're all individualized, we're all unique. All of our traumas are different, all of our life experiences are different. And there are so many other factors that are unique to us as an individual. It makes it really hard for us to be able to step back and say, I deserve to have a good day. I deserve to smile today. I deserve to receive that compliment.
Mm. But I know this sounds a little woo, a little cheesy. How getting an affirmation on my phone once a day can make a difference? It is in very small ways. It's changing your mindset, shifting things, reframing things. It's a
Right.
little bit at a time, but it does eventually seek in.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And sometimes they can give us the permission that we need to just take a minute and smile.
Yep.
And because sometimes we have a hard time with that. And sometimes we might feel like we don't deserve to, or we just forget and we just get sucked in and absorbed with all the toxicity and all the negativity that happens in this world every single day, that we have to remember that this too shall pass. You know, that's one of my favorite sayings. I actually had a client who tattooed that on herself, because that was something I would say to her all the time when she was younger. You know, these are life events that will pass.
Mm.
Its impact on our future really is determined by what space we give it.
All those things our parents used to say to us.
Mhm.
And when we were younger, we'd say, and to ourselves, wouldn't really say it to our parents, but it's like, come on, we've been this too shall pass, whatever. It's true.
It
And,
is.
live a life, you see it. And even my mom used to say, it'll all work out. It'll all work out. I'm like, really? It does.
It does. And you have to remember that negative people are going to draw you in,
Yep.
because misery loves company. And so when
Truth.
you have negative,
There's another one.
right, yeah, exactly, right. All these cliches that you that you say, that you heard your parents say, or that you say, or and it kind of just like perpetuates itself. And my daughter, I got her a towel that hangs in her kitchen that says, "Oh my God, my mother was right about everything."
I'll be looking for that one because it's true. And I
Right?
can't think of one thing that my mom used to say that isn't true. And
Mm.
pivot here for just a moment. But one of the craziest things she used to say is, don't sit on the ground. You'll get a cold in your stomach. I'm like, a
Oh,
cold in your stomach? What are you talking about? I didn't get a cold in your stomach. Get a cold in my nose, my head cold. Blah, 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 blah. Until I talked to a Chinese medicine expert this year doing a podcast.
wow.
And she said, yes, cold is not good for you. You should
Okay.
be drinking warm beverages. Never drink a cold beverage. That's what they believe in Chinese medicine and have for thousands of years.
Mhm.
And yeah, you can do your the spleen is very important in Chinese medicine, kidneys, all of that. And yes, it's possible to get sick just from sitting on the ground because of the cold. Like
Right.
one person I talked to, acupuncture, Chinese medicine, she would always say, "Don't even go in a room with air conditioning. It's not good for you." And they start testing this and proving it. So there's truth in a lot of this stuff. There really is.
There is. And so the third kind of coping skill would be ask yourself, is what I'm doing helping or hurting me?
Hmm.
Right? Impactful.
I almost don't want to ask myself that. Yeah. Hmm.
So if we think about our choices, if we think about the people that are in our circle, if we think about our jobs, if we think about our reactions, always stop and think, is this helping or is this hurting us? And it kind of goes hand in hand with a little bit of what I've talked about in the past, which is always ask yourself, what is your intention before you say something? What is the intention of this? And sometimes when we just take a moment to sit back and really diagnose what that looks like, we may see that our intention is more self-serving versus it being more communicative. And that's where we need to take a step back and say, okay, maybe that's not something that we want to say or do, because that's really going to, we're going to say that because we want to absolve ourselves from some sort of anxiety or we're angry about something, but it's not a useful thing to say. And this kind of goes in alignment with that, which is asking yourself, is what is the choices that I'm making? Are the things that I'm doing, are the people that I'm with, are they hurting us or are they helping us? And that can really change the outcome of so many decisions that we make.
Hmm. Um, you said, is this hurting or helping in something we say? Is it all also apply to things that we do?
Correct. It applies to everything. I would say that it would really apply to our decisions, our actions, the things that we say, the people that we're surrounding ourselves with. Are they in alignment with who our value systems are, our moral systems, our integral system? Or are they somebody that we're keeping around out of obligation or out of necessity?
Or
And
fear?
or fear, good one. Absolutely.
Yeah, you
Yes.
may. How about you hang out with somebody, some people for fear of abandonment. You just, you really don't have a good time with them. I just want to keep them around just because, just so they're here. I know I need them if I need something, they're around and whatever. But is it really supporting you? Really supporting you? Maybe not.
These are things to look at. We have one life right here, right? Another cliche. Tomorrow, I mean, we have to really just take a look at what are the things in our life that make sense? What are the things that support our happiness? What are the things that support our mental health? How can we move forward in a more positive way? And sometimes we have to make really hard decisions or really important decisions that may, like you said, out of fear, right? I mean, how many of us change? Change is not always easy. It's just easy to stay in routines every single day because we know what to expect. And the unexpected is scary. It's fearful. We have no idea what's going to happen. And so sometimes we'll stay with our routines out of fear of making that change, even if that means that that change is better for us. It's going to enlighten us. It's going to give us more hope. It's going to give us more positivity, but we don't know. The devil you know is better than the devil you don't, right? Talk
Mm.
about cliches and all the things that come with it. But that's how it is. And as human beings, we are innately anxious. We worry about things. We're not sure about what next steps are going to bring. And sometimes we're afraid to make changes because we don't know what that outcome is going to be.
But that's what holds us back.
That's absolutely what holds us back.
Mm.
But when one door closes, right,
There's a,
new beginnings, there's
hel-
something on the
hello.
outside.
I hear my mom again.
Okay.
Um, but it's always been said that if there's no discomfort, there's no growth.
If nothing bad and nothing good happens, nothing happens.
It's it's the truth though.
Right?
It really is. You know, do
And
you remember when you had the maybe the light bulb going off where you said to yourself, you know what? I got some resilience. I didn't think I had that in me. Like the first time it started appearing.
mhm. Yes, and I can tell you that, and I remember the time frame. It was when I was probably about 8 or 9, and I remember being at a probably one of the first few times that I had gone to a friend's house, and I remember thinking to myself, "Wow, the home life that I have is not okay. It's not normal. This isn't how other people live. It's not okay to treat your children that way." And
Mm,
I can remember some really profound moments in my childhood where, without a lot of outside influence, remember thinking internally, this just doesn't feel right in my soul. Like, and of course, I didn't use that language back then, but and I didn't understand why. And I didn't have a lot of positive outside influences. I mean, we're talking back in the 70s where things were a very, very different time than what they are now. But there was just something inside of my soul that always felt like this just doesn't feel okay for me. This doesn't seem like this is normal. And even though all of the people in the unit of my house acted and behaved that way, and their friends acted and behaved that way, and that was really the culture of my childhood, there was something for me that didn't feel like that was okay. And I really definitely attribute that to having a resiliency gene of saying, I'm not okay with wanting to be here. Like this is not how I want to live my life. And the more I didn't agree with it, the more kind of ostracized I was from the family because I didn't agree with the philosophies, or I didn't engage in the negativity or the bad behaviors or the drinking and the partying and all of the mayhem that happened in my house growing up. I didn't want to be part of that because I knew that it just didn't feel right. Even though, had I conformed, I probably wouldn't have endured what I did because I could have just gone along with it
But
and fit in.
I'm getting something here. Uh, it was also your intuition telling you,
Mm,
this is off. And do you think that intuition has something to do with resilience,
I
where
do.
when it starts getting stronger, you start getting stronger because you realize,
Yeah,
oh my gosh, that situation I got to deal with. How am I going to deal with that? When you use your intuition, it's probably it's going to be all right. It's going to be all right. So now you've got wings, you've got muscles, you feel stronger.
right. And positivity and hope. I think those are really important things. And those are one of the factors that have been identified with the resiliency gene is that people who have a more optimistic, outlook on things tend to be a little bit more resilient. People who look
Mm.
at things with more hope or more ability to have that internal locus of control, right? That's very different than the people who have this external locus of control where they're not in, like, they're the victims, all these things are happening for them. But when we have that internal locus of control, we're able to take a step back and breathe through it and say, I have choices, acceptance. And that's a huge thing that I work with my clients all the time. Do you want to leave this marriage right now? Yes or no? You're not ready to leave. Okay, so then let's work on acceptance. Instead of spending our time every week focusing on why we can't make that change, let's focus on the acceptance of the situation that we're in until we feel strong enough to make that change, until we're in a position to make that change. And that's different for everybody, but it starts with acceptance. I'm accepting, I'm choosing that this is what is going to make sense for me right now. And when we can look at our life as a choice, as something that we have control over, it changes our whole outcome. It changes our whole perspective because now we don't feel like we're handcuffed. Now we don't feel like somebody's telling us what we should or shouldn't be doing. And that gives us the flexibility. It's like the word and. I love the word and.
Mm,
Allows us to have two thoughts, two emotions all at the same time and to be able to embrace it.
powerful. It's
Very,
powerful. Yeah.
it is possible for us to live and breathe at the same time.
Well, once you find that power, that's
Yeah.
that newfound power or resilience within you, you can pretty much handle anything. And side note, we're just about out of time here, but isn't it true that once you overcome one hurdle, then the next one?
Yes.
Oh, pull that one off. I got some resilience, whether you call it resilience or not. On to the next one. Doesn't it get easier?
It does. Those are stepping stones. And so kind of what New Beginnings was built on, right? Stepping stones to a brighter future, because we need to have those stepping stones. And every time we step up, we carry that knowledge with us. We carry that success with us. We carry that ability to be more resilient, to be more hopeful. And even if there are days that we take 3 steps back or we stay on that same step because we can't move forward, we have not lost everything that we have achieved or accomplished. That just means we're going to take a little rest. We're going to take a little Kit Kat break today, and then tomorrow we're going to just continue to climb up that ladder and just continue to strive to be the best versions of ourselves.
Yeah. It's not like you're taking steps back. You're just hitting the pause button. You're not rewinding.
Right, we're not rewinding. No, but I mean, sometimes we will repeat it, a bad mistake, and that's, you can perceive that as maybe taking a step back, but that's okay, because tomorrow we're going to just continue to take the steps forward and really just create the life that we deserve to create, that we deserve to have.
Yep. And it's your choice.
Choices. We all have choices in life. Every one of us, we all have choices. And there are people out there to support you. And if you don't have a support system within your family or within your friend group, reach out to a therapist.
Yeah.
We are the
Yep.
best cheerleaders that are out there.
newbeginningswc.com.
Yeah.
You're located in Massachusetts, but you can virtually work with anybody, anywhere, depending on situations. Thank you for talking about this today. It's life changing, and it's not easy getting that resilience, but once you figure it out, bing, life changes.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Appreciate it, Sherri Ann. Thanks, and we'll talk soon. Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.